or g'day, depends which you like. Some like either. The heading is Who's Conspiring Against Who? You call people conspiracy theorists, you call them sovereign citizens, because you're nuts. Absolute lunatics. You've got us down in your computer, or some people, I don't know if I'm there. If you have, you're just as big a nut as I thought you were. Welcome to the real world of people who conspire against us. Some people got a bit upset because I brought up the Negrito people. Some people got upset that I had something to say about the fact that Aboriginals weren't the first inhabitants of Australia. Simply, Australia voted against it. 1999 referendum, so let's get that clear. They voted against it because it's correct. Now, you can twist your words, you can say what you like. The majority of people in this country are Church of England, Catholic, Jehovah's Witness, Seventh-day Adventists, Mormons, whatever. You all pick up the Bible and believe it's the Word of God. That says we had a massive flood. Obviously, there was no one left alive after the flood except the contents of the ark. Now, you can argue, dispute it, whatever you like. If you argue it, then you are stepping outside reality, because enough experts have said there was a flood. It shows up in Grand Canyon in America and several other places. If you dispute it with them, because I couldn't give a hang. I've had enough of people slandering this country. A few simple paragraphs say that every political party and everybody attached to the political parties, including the people who finance it, the unions in the Labor Party and all the donkeys and the others and all their religious beliefs. You are all gutless, spineless little maggots who cannot get a real job anywhere and decide that you're going to take this country over. Well, guess what? You're not. Why? Because the Bible says you're not. That's number one. So let's get to the truth of what's going on. The Labor Party gets together with a group of people called unions, lies, cheats and steals, and forces people to be in a union. I'm not saying unions aren't good. They just have to be controlled like any other organisation that decides it has authority over people. Any law you've got that says we have to join a union, throw it in the bin, because that's slavery. You make us work, you make us pay tax, you make us pay into stinking unions. If the unions were any good, you wouldn't have to force us, but you do. Now let's look at our Constitution, because it's ours for every Australian. And it includes you, Kangaroo Jack, and Shillingsworth, and the other idiot, and that idiot Filipino come whatever, that calls himself a communist, Thomas Mayo. You're a brain-dead little maggot. You don't like this country, get out. You're not going to change it. Who said? We did. You were talking about Aboriginal communists. Well, there you are. You've got him, Kangaroo Jack and Shillingsworth. They're communists. What spewed out of his mouth proved a lot of things to me. Kangaroo Jack I'm talking about. He's got a white father, he said. Black mother, he said. And he hates white people. To listen to his dribble that he comes out with these short videos on TikTok. And he wants a republic. If you had anything between your ears, you would realise a republic would take every single thing that you've ever got. You think we are, you're a liar. They're not your people, unless you're talking about the communists, because they are. You conspired with the members of the Labor Party, for all the politicians and all the snivelling little greedy maggots who wouldn't work in an iron lung. That's what I'm talking about. You are the people that conspire against the people of this country who are the Commonwealth. It's times that people brought that out. I don't like political parties because they don't serve the people, they serve their parties. Look at it. If you can't see that, you're a brain-dead idiot. Don't like what I'm saying? Get used to it, because I'm not going to stop. I'm going to keep pushing until you idiots are in jail or sitting in the hole in the ground where you belong. And Kangaroo Jack, just because somebody goes to jail and dies doesn't mean white people killed them. I'll say it this way. You said there's more black people in jail than white people. If that's the case, you killed them. You killed your own people in the jails. Now let's look at the truth, because what I just said is not true, but you're saying it. If you say we did, then I'm saying you did it. Is there more Aboriginal people in jail than white people? No, but more people go straight to jail if they're coloured or Aboriginal, according to you. So let's look at the facts, and this is Labor Party facts designed to make it look like white people are worse than Aboriginals. This is from the Labor Party, and they put it forward in 1983, 84, around then. More white people commit offences than Aboriginal people. More white people. Sound true? It is true. Absolutely 100% perfectly true. But the few Aboriginal people, compared to numbers, commit 10 times more offences than white people. Also 100% true. How do I know? I was in a position to do the statistics and listen to the dribble come out of political parties to try and make a, oh, look at that, the poor Aboriginals. You're not poor Aboriginals. You are a very strong, very intelligent race of people being lied to and misled and deceived by idiots called politicians. Not for your good, for theirs. If it was for your good, when you got your land rights, that you call land rights, those claims, they would go straight into your name with a title, but you're not. They don't want them there. They want them in the corporations. Where is all the money being given? To the corporations. Do you see it in your communities? No, you don't. You're screaming for money for your communities. Even you, Kangaroo jack up your ears and drive a new head in it, because nothing of any consequence comes out of your brain when you mouth off the stupidity that you do. I'm talking about your idiot statement that we need a republic. And you don't want anything to do with a monarchy. You don't have to have anything to do with a monarchy unless you want a job in the public service, and you have to swear an oath of allegiance. Who said? We did. You got 200,000 or 300,000 Aboriginals, natives, whichever you want to call them, and we got about 26 million white people, if you want to call us that. So who wins? Majority. We formed the Commonwealth of Australia for a reason. We formed it for a reason. Where as the people, that was a reason. Every single living man and woman in this country. That's why we did it. Not for any other reason. We didn't do it and say, you're going to be this. You go back before Federation, and yes, kids were taken out of different areas. I agree. There is no forgiveness for hurting Australians. I'm not hurting Australians. I'm stating the fact against the idiots who do it. This, as I'm referring to the political parties, you thought it was smart to do all your documents and try and erase a whole group of people called Negritos or Pygmies, whichever you way. You come up with the idea majority of them now are Indians. No, they're not. The majority of them now are Polynesians. Do your own research. Then go back to your constitution as well as ours. It was for you as well, whether you like it or not. Supreme, absolute and uncontrollable authority remains with the people. Nothing to do with political parties. Nothing to do with them. Are they anywhere in the Constitution? Yes. Traitors. That's you. Nothing more and nothing less than filthy, lying traitors. Thieves. Thieves. That's all you are. You don't like what I'm saying. I'm telling you the truth. You don't want to get the truth. Stop lying about the people. Because I've added a little bit to mine. Instead of you lie against me, I'll tell the truth against you. You lie against the people, I'll tell the truth about you traitors. How do you like that one? That's a better saying, much better. Especially for the idiots. Because I sit there and I watch things on TikTok and how people express their opinion. I watch Auntie Christine. She's got an opinion. Oh, it's somewhat wild, it's somewhat foul, but she puts a point over what she thinks. But that's her truth. Why can't she do it? Whereas the people includes her. Includes the other people who come on there and spill their hearts out wanting to stop the trouble and everybody to live comfortably. Why can't we? Because of political parties. And it doesn't matter who they belong to. The ones that get in our parliament are white as snow and call themselves Aboriginals or natives. They're all dressed in expensive clothes, collect heaps of money. How much money that you get out of the parliament that you couldn't possibly spend, how much do you give to your own Aboriginal people? How much? You give your big mouth, but you don't give any money. Why not? Why not? Why not? Come to my place if you're hungry, you get fed. Go to your place, you get an abuse that you've got for white people. How's that correct? So what do you give them? So you dish out abuse, we dish out food. Is that what you want in this world? Hate? Is that what you're trying to spread in this country? Is that what you want? Because that seems to be what you're trying to get. A big war between black and white, but there's not such thing. There's Australians and there's Australians, and there's blatant treasonous traitors called political parties. You tell me one political party that doesn't look after itself. None. There's none. And everybody who joins the political parties as members is just as guilty as the idiots who sit in our parliament. You know, I saw blatant discrimination by a greenie. These greenies know that the Chinese bring nuclear waste in through Darwin Harbour, which the Labor Party rented to them forever and a day for nothing. Is that true? Yes. I just happen to know some people who happen to cast the waste out to the middle of Australia and dump it. You expect us to put up with your lies. Out of Geraldton Harbour, they send uranium, zinc, lead, talcum, wheat, and all other grains overseas. How much do we get paid for it? They send gold and silver and all the other things. How much do we get? Yeah, never heard of law, nor have I. I have. It comes out of the mouth of our little kangaroo jack-up. Jack up your ears. I keep repeating that because there's not too much between your ears, mate, and your lies. You don't want unity. You want unity on your terms as a republic. You just cannot see. You'll own nothing, and you'll be abundantly happy, while a couple of dozen people sitting at the top will get all the money and you will get nothing. Don't you understand that? Now, getting back to our Constitution, it says not all enactments of the Parliament are valid, only those passed pursuant to, in accordance with, and under the authority granted by the Constitution, and those laws only are binding on the courts, judges and people of every state. Simple. All other laws are void. So when the people, something's put to the people by referendum, we are asked to give an answer, yes or no, not carried or not carried. No one's carrying anything except a load of garbage in your brain, because that's all you got. If you think it's any other way, you're just plain dead stupid. And I've seen what's written up by AI or whatever, Wikipedia and that puts there, carried or not carried. No. You put a question up. The question is, do you approve of this? No, so it's no. Do you approve of this? Yes, so it's yes. If you can't understand the two most simplest words in the English dictionary, yes and no, go back to school. If you want to sit in our parliament, you do what you're told. You, before you take your seat for the Senate or the House of Representatives, whether it's state level or federal level, for the upper and lower house of states, you swear the oath in our Constitution. It has an oath, and if you don't believe in God, it has an affirmation. Your choice to make, no other. You want to sit and get paid, albeit only for the time you sit, because that's what we grant to you, nothing else. We don't grant you to get wages. We didn't grant you to get anything we can't get, and that includes your ridiculous pensions, which is blatant stealing off the people. No one independent makes those amounts up. Idiot politicians do, for their own pocket. Is that criminal? Is it? Of course it is. Who conspires with who? You conspire with your mates, your political parties, your political aspirations, what you think, your religions and all your dribble, to pervert the course of justice and steal off the people. It's whereas the people of New South Wales, Queensland, Victoria, Tasmania, South Australia and Western Australia join together in one indissoluble federation of the Commonwealth of Australia. That's correct. No one is your people. The whole lot of the people are our people. Our people who are sovereign in their own right. Not sovereign citizens, unless you're a moron. Otherwise you'd believe that, and you probably are, because you stick up nice and cheerful with your political parties and lie, and when you finish lying you go back and lie again. You've got nothing better to do. Now, what we need to do is look at page 676. What does it say there? Come about halfway down the page, it says, the Constitution is above both houses of Parliament. Does it say state or federal? No, because it means state and federal. So it doesn't separate the two. Because 107, 108 and 109 create the states, subject to the Commonwealth Constitution, so it refers to them. So look at that. You're under the Constitution and must abide by it. That's what it states. Then it goes to the bottom and it says the Parliament, which is every Parliament in this country, given what I just said, is subject to the Constitution and must abide by it. That is correct. Then it says, the Parliament is not supreme, and the very essence of federation is that must be so. The Parliament, like everyone else, is subject to the law and must abide by it. Subject to the law and must abide by it. Now, then you go to page 791. It says, Brian, yeah, right, I tend to agree with you. Let's get off this. This is not for individuals to play their little ideas. You pay for your land. And so should everybody. You want social cohesion, everybody should buy their land regardless. regardless. I'm not saying you shouldn't have it. If you were granted it by the native welfare, which some were, claiming an adverse possession, it's yours. Claiming an adverse possession, it's yours. Do you need to go to court? No, you don't. If you've got that evidence, and I know quite a few of you do, take it. If you're in a community and you're allotted a certain area of land, go and get it. Now come back to page 791, so I stay off people's comments for a while. Now, page 791, in the middle of the last paragraph, it says, neither the federal nor the state parliament sovereign bodies that are in only legislatures with limited authority. If they attempt to pass a law in excess of that authority, the law is a nullity and affords no obedience. What does that mean to you idiots? You call us cookers. You're a nut job. That's a better one for you. Lying nut job politicians. That suits all the political parties. That's all you are. You go in there, lie, cheat and steal and see how much money you can get out of us, drop out after a few years and live on the high hog for nothing, and we got to pay. That's what you think. That's got to stop. Kids were stolen off every generation all over the world. It wasn't just in Australia. Some of the reasons that they were taken off the native people in this country were justified. Most were not. But notice they filled up, look at that, the orphanages of the Roman Church and the Church of England. By the way, they're basically the same, except Church of England can get married, the others can't. And it came out of a revolution in England, which I've described before. It's time to stop. No, the religion isn't the problem. The people in it are, because they want money. They took Irish women and kids out of Ireland and took them to other countries and forced them to breed with other people. Look at that. Pretty well the same thing that's happening here, but they're not taking them out of the country, they're just forcing them to breed with other people, mixing them up. And look at the institutions. Sister Kate's Catholic. How many more institutions are Catholic? How many? So who's behind it? The Roman Church. And the Seven-day Adventists, what do? Are they fighting against the government, complaining about the corruption? Child molesting pedophiles in our parliament? No. Jehovah's Witness, what are you doing? Nothing. Methodists, Presbyterian, Baptists, even the so-called Christian churches. What are you doing about protesting about these people raping our kids? And what about the objection by some communities in this country objecting to intervention in your communities because you're raping your kids? Are you? Yes. Yes. How many years did it take to remove that garbage from Lockridge and stop that? How many years? I could tell you, but I'm not going to. This is not a witch hunt. This is not attacking anyone of any different colour at all. This is stating facts that you need to look at. Jacinta Allen, you committed blatant treason against the people of this country when you swore your oath to serve this country and you served the political parties instead and brought in the voice your style, which is nothing. You look at the people that you picked. How many of them are actually Aboriginal? Maybe a little smidgen. They can't sit there because they're going against our constitution. It's treason. You saying you serve the people and do what you did, that's treason. So everybody who passed that purported legislation went directly against the people. Because why? The majority of people in this country said no. They said no. Why? Because they could see past your lies. And the majority of people in Victoria voted against it. So why did you do it? because you think you're going to get your way. No, you're not. Then you scoot off to China, say, look how, aren't I fantastic? Are you? Once you go and live in a Muslim country and say, I'm standing up for the homosexuals, maybe they might throw you off the roof. That would be an asset. We don't do that. Sorry, Margaret, I blocked you. You're trying to cut in when I'm doing a video. I'm not listening at present. Ring back later. Now, let's get one thing straight. I'm not against Aboriginal people. I'm all for them. I have gone out of my way to study the whole lot. Go and have a look at the Bilberman Trail in Western Australia and work out how it came about and what's happening to it today and what it was built for and by who. Go and have a look at the communities that have pygmies in them still, or Negrito people in them still, or intermarried. Why can't they? The problem is there's too many people running around trying to can Australians. I don't know what getting back to the native deaths in custody, 600 whatever, since the inquiry. I was involved in the inquiry because we put someone in the lockup and they bled to death because their liver bled out. Nobody could foresee that. To think that we in any way did anything to that person, I know they didn't. They were brought in because they were laying in Guildford Park rotten drunk out of their mind. They were put in there for their safety. We're still having them die in custody, and yet they're being picked up around Geraldton and taken home and taken to different facilities, and still they're dying. We had one that committed suicide. It was freezing cold night, so we left her with a jumper. She tied one sleeve around her neck and the other one around the bars, put her hands down behind her pants and sat down. Choked to death. Once she sat down, she couldn't get her hands out. She couldn't get it off quick enough. She choked. She vomited and sucked it all back into her lungs. And all they could come up with in the Royal Commission was you should have used that big bag with a piece, put it over her mouth and pump it full of air, pushing it all down into her lungs. I didn't do that. I forced her jaw apart and pulled it all out with my fingers. Do you think I liked doing that? No. Why did I do it? Because I could see not an Aboriginal, a very nice lady, usually, and a human being. So I did it, try and save a life. So when idiots like you, Kangaroo Jack, say you murdered them or you killed them or whatever other dribble you want to pour out of your mouth, you are an animal, because only an animal could think like that. You are subhuman for even talking like that. You don't like the way I'm talking to you now, stop saying the things you do, because I am offended at that. I've spent my life serving this country, not blabbing on about how to give it to some other idiot like you are. That's what you get if you get a republic. The World Republic, which is the new world government system, is what you're promoting. Believe it or not, know it or not, who cares? When you blab on about a republic, it means a few people take everything, and it's a political party. Now let's look at the truth of our parliament. We vote for the politicians that go into parliament, not the political parties. I'm talking about the true voting system. When they get there, the governor at the state level selects 10 from the lower house, 8 from the upper, that becomes the executive government. Look at page 701 in the annotated constitution. Ours, not the fraudulent green one, the vomit one, mucus one. I'm talking about ours. Go and read it. Executive, or actually it says legislature, executive, judicature, because there's a separation between the judicature and the first two. The executive is selected by the governor, nobody else. He or she, if you like she's, I don't agree it should be there at present, needs an alteration which we can give them, but it hasn't been done, so it's not lawful. So the Governor General is not lawful, and she didn't swear the oath of allegiance, so she's still not lawful. Now, let's go back to what I was saying. That executive government, Parliament, or whoever they are, that executive, for instance, holds the portfolios granted to each of them by the governor at state level, Governor General at federal level. That's a constitutional fact and reality. Now, all the representatives who are there submit in the Parliament what the people want for legislation, not what political parties want. They don't have a say in it. The communists, the socialists, the morons, the liberals, whatever they are, have no say in it, except they represent each state. That's all they do. That's the only thing they can do, is put that legislation to the executive. If they think it's got merit, they put the legislation together as a bill. It goes to the lower house, gets debated, corrects any spelling mistakes, English, however, so it's clear, gives it to the upper house. If and only if it complies with our constitution, do they pass it and hand it to the governor. He signs on behalf of the Crown. Look at that, Kangaroo Jack, you don't want the Crown. So where's your safeguard in your legislation without the governor? There is none. You can not like the Crown. We don't care. The Crown's there for the protection of the people under it. And you don't understand that. Not much of other things either, but you don't understand that. Now, because only 5 of the states put their constitutions in and complied with 106, Western Australia did not. Did that affect them becoming states? No, it didn't. It affected them having a local government, being the Parliament. And Toomey knows it, but she chooses to say, oh, it's the councils. No, it's not. They're two individual things. Go to page 936, the 8th line down. We, through our constitution, grant the states the right to have municipal authorities, which is to look after roads, footpaths and things like that, street lights and libraries, whatever. We also grant the right to have a local government, being the Parliament of the states, not these idiots who are a registered company who have no control over them whatsoever, except now they've got the United Nations dictating how they're going to screw us over, tax us off our land, take everything we got, including your communities. I'm not asking you to step away from the system, I'm asking you to step into it and exercise your authority. Do you understand that, Kangaroo Jack? I hope this reaches you and you comprehend what I'm saying. You can have a big say sitting in those councils. Like, get out of there, you're committing treason, you maggots. That's what you should be saying. But you're not listening. You don't want to. Your hatred towards white people and your own father, because he's white according to you. You know, the biggest problem I have is dealing with people who turn their lights off. Turn them back on and think for once in your life. Colloquial expression for not using your brain. We have never had 6 states, all with their lawful constitution. 1902, New South Wales removed theirs in August. 1922, Queensland removed its upper house. None of them are complying with the constitution. So have we ever had a lawful federal parliament? No. Have we ever had lawful laws in the federal parliament? Absolutely not. We need 6 lawful states. You get sent a document. I put out a letter. I attended at this time and this date at your polling booth to vote. The question of law came out of the next line. There were no lawful candidates. The question was, why not? And there were none. Because you couldn't vote for one person once for the Senate under Section 8 of the Constitution and one person once under Section 30 of the Constitution. You can't vote for them. Because a company set up by the political party says you can't, called the Electoral Commission. Pack of liars, thieves and crims. The people in there are not. They're nice enough. They're trying to administer it. One of them rang me up and I said, this is why I couldn't vote. Not because I didn't, because I couldn't. You prevented me exercising my right to vote. Because I had to vote for 8 people for the Senate. For the House of Representatives, sorry. And how many? 10 or 12 political parties above the line and 20 odd below the line. I can only vote for one person lawfully for the Senate. One person lawfully for the House of Representatives. So I couldn't. So I asked them the question on the document, why didn't you have lawful candidates? Because your paper, and I actually handed it up before, says if I don't vote for every single one, my vote doesn't count. What does that just tell you? Even somebody who's as thick as 5 short planks would understand I can only vote for one person once. Why? Because those people cover the whole states. They cover the whole states for the House of Representatives, the whole state for the Senate, the whole state in the lower house of state parliament, the whole state for upper parliament. Well, when you took it out, Queensland, you couldn't comply with 106. Why not? You couldn't because the political parties decided. What I'm talking about, we have enemies in this country. We the people have huge enemies. They sit in political parties, finance political parties, hand out pieces of paper for political parties and tell you, you've got to join a union or we're going to fine you. And the stupid morons that keep telling people, I don't know the law, I do. Because if the law is passed without being compliant with our Constitution, it doesn't exist. And you don't like what I'm saying, tough. Because I've had a guts full. I got 17 grandkids. I don't want to see them grow up in a world of snivelling half-wits called politicians who will not follow the will of the people. I don't want to see anybody else's kids, my friends, their kids, everybody else growing up in this country where you've been screwed over, overtaxed and given nothing in return. You think I'm wrong, go in the Constitution and you tell me whether your Labor, you individually, each one of the 27 million people in this country, why you have to subject yourself to their rules in relation to your Labor. Why you have to pay a percentage of the fruits of your Labor to these idiots. And I can show you exactly where it says you can't. You do not have to. It's always been voluntary. Oh, you signed a contract. I didn't sign anything because a contract is between two people with both people agreeing. 100% in agreement. The rest is a lie and fraud. When are you going to sit up, shut up, and open your ears and your eyes and see what's going on around you? I haven't been stirring you to see if I can cause trouble. Some people I think a heck of a lot of got offended at some of the things I say. Well, I'm sorry, it wasn't there to offend you. It was there to open the minds of all the things. Silly old, that's nice, Christopher Ford, moron. You are what you just called me. Good. You've got nothing between your ears if you're not listening. Nothing. We have a constitution for a reason, and you're probably just another government control Christopher Ford with no face. That's all you are. Nice little comment for a half-wit. If you can't listen and comprehend, it doesn't matter if I'm 150 or 20. What I'm telling you is what our Constitution says. Our Constitution for every person, not for people like Christopher Ford, who just called me a nasty little name. You're a moron. Get a brain. Oh, look at that. He took it back off. Aren't you nice? Time for you people to wake up. G'day, and do it. I spent time with a friend, and I just named her. Her and her husband came up. We spent a couple of days with them, roughly. It's good to meet people who are of a like mind with us, which is 99% of the population of this country. We voted against having a republic, and I'm glad. You don't see the ability of the people to do anything because it's taken away from you by idiots in political parties. I heard what the red-headed wonder from Queensland had to say about different things and what her associate says. He's correct. Get out of your political parties. It's the only thing you're doing wrong. And to that Green person who said you'd wear the Palestinian flag in our parliament if they wore the Australian one, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. Doesn't matter whether it's the Jews or the Palestinians that are killing people. They're killing people. Neither is correct. Why would you march over and push their ideals before you go there and see exactly what they're doing? Are you going to get the truth out of the media? No, you're not. So why are you propping up one against the other? What is to stop Pauline Hanson and Jacinta from wearing the Australian flag? Nothing, except the stupidity of the political party-run parliament, who should have told that Green person, shut your mouth, don't bother coming in or we will throw you out. We have a flag. Whether you agree it's the red or the blue one, I don't care. You go argue stupidity all you like. Both have a part in this country because it's coming from the heart of the people. We decide. You don't. Look at the reality of what's going on around you. Both of them have a lot of things. Yeah, I agree. I'm not saying anything about that one, but I do agree it's happening. They're also going to teach everybody about Aboriginal traditions that don't even exist. If they do, why aren't the Aboriginal putting their traditions out in their costumes, marching with everybody for the freedom of this country? Not Kangaroo Jack sprouting all his rhetoric. I want to see the people of this country join together as one country. One country. Joined together under God, or whoever you want to call God. If you want to sit in our parliament, you have a choice of two oaths. One of affirmation and one to the crown. You don't like that, get out of our parliament. You have no lawful right to be there. Not one inkling of a right. We set the standard by our Constitution. You follow it or you get out. The High Court could not rule in Sue versus Hill. That is an oxymoron what they ruled. They can't touch the Constitution. They are there as interpreters. You put something into the High Court against officers of the Commonwealth and they would knock it out because, look at that, all the state politicians are not officers of the Commonwealth. What did they just say? If they don't swear the oath, they're not officers of the Commonwealth. And they told us straight out, they're not. So why didn't they issue warrants for the arrest of every state politician when we filed for writs of mandamus? And then out come the half-wits saying, oh, you can't do that, you lost this, you lost that. Yeah, I lost some cases, but I won some, and you will never know how many, because nobody's going to stand up, and guess what? I do not care. I teach the Constitution. You get the Constitution, you read it, you'll know I teach the Constitution. What I set out in life to do? Teach the Constitution and serve others. What have I done in my life? Taught the Constitution and serve others. You don't like that? Wake up. Time to wake up. Because until you do, this country is on a downward slide, straight into a one world system of government where you'll be gloriously happy, own nothing, work your guts out all your life, and some peanut comes along and says, oh, I'll have that, I'm in the union or I'm somewhere else and I don't work, but you're going to give it to me because I said, or some so-and-so, you effing so-and-so dogs, pay the rent. The person who owns this land is God. Don't believe me? I don't care. So we pay rent to God? Does he ask for it? No. Do we have to? No. There's religious peanuts. Religious peanuts want us to pay. They can't even read the Bible and comprehend it. The problem is, you can call me what you like. I don't care. I have a right to say what I think. You know why? Because I'm one of the 27 million. Yes, you've got the right to say what you like. I'm not denying that. But understand this, you say the wrong thing, you leave the Commonwealth of Australia because you're not with the people. It's whereas the people of New South Wales, Queensland and so on join together in one indissoluble federation, the Commonwealth of Australia. That's why we sit quasi-sovereign, the Commonwealth quasi-sovereign, the Constitution underneath it. And then 2 lots of parliaments. Wake up, we're in this together. You neo-Nazis, get out. Go find a hole in the sewage to crawl into, because that's all you are, is maggots. You don't like what I'm saying? Boo-hoo. If you don't sprout out of your mouth compassion, love, freedom, and assistance to those who need it, then you're a maggot. You understand that? You're a maggot. So I'm not going to rant all day, because I was laying down and I thought about it. I better get up and say something, because I'm getting sick of Shillingsworth and our little friend Kangaroo Jack blabbing on about something that is just for a group of people who want to take this country over and be paid money to sit in their butts for the rest of their lives and never earn anything and never do anything. Because what have you done so far except try to disrupt this country? That's all you are doing. Disrupting this country. That's all you're doing. And while you do it and I breathe, I'm going to be in your face. You don't like it? Tough. You think you're bigger than me, stronger than me? Give it a go. Give it a couple of weeks till me back heals completely up. It's almost done. Shut your mouth or tell the truth and stand up for this country. Have a good day.